While I was preparing for the talk, I actually have done some research online. It is how communication looked like in 19th century. And is now talking about beyond voice messages. It's about accessing of information. This is how it looked like in the factory in 19th century. And now we talk about machines and robots. It's how it looks like in the office space. You can see lots of typewriters. And it's now this kind of open office space. People can move around and using computers. How about education? It's how it looks like in 19th century. Interestingly, it's nearly the same. Perhaps you ask what education differs, within this 100 years. The delivery and assessment probably nearly the same, but the contents are kind of like flooded with overflow of information. But why are we still delivering education in a similar way? Perhaps we should ask the question, what's the purpose of education? Actually, many of us believe that education can change our destiny. But is this true? Is it true to you? Today, 58 million of children are not receiving education, which means 10% of the world's population are not receiving primary education. And even though you're lucky enough, to go through education, actually 26% of youth are not receiving jobs. They're totally unemployed. And every year, 300 million job seekers exist. And with a rate of 45 million increasing, every year. How about our future? In next 15 years, automation will threaten, the job market, including 69% of jobs in India, 47% in United States, as well as 77% in China. And then in the next 20 years, UK, what's the situation? 35% of jobs will be replaced by robots. Perhaps you say, oh, okay, it's a question, is the issue in developed countries. But actually, this kind of information gap has widened, the situation between developed countries and developing countries. But it's only the iceberg, of the problem. In 2014, WHO actually issued a report about health, of adolescents. The top 3 causes of death is actually, traffic injuries, HIV, AIDS, as well as suicide. Every year, 800,000 of people commit suicide. And not to talk about, there are many cases of suicide attempts. And it actually means one person actually takes his life. In every 40 seconds, one person disappears and his life. In fact, between age 10 to 19, depression is the #1 cause of disability and illness. And between age 15 to 29, suicide is the #2 cause of youth death. And you may question, is it only an issue about developed, countries, high-income countries? But actually, 78% of youth death came from low or middle-income countries. And what does this number mean? It means that we are not providing enough support, for people who are facing their life challenges. Are we teaching relevant things to support people to face their life challenges? As a person, I have two friends commit suicide while they were in high school. I know the pain is beyond only the person, himself or herself, but the families, the classmates, the communities. It means the number is beyond that 800,000. Let me make it clear, I'm not talking about the education curriculum should be changed. We all know that it's overload, and there are lots of things that we are talking about, education, reform. I'm only talking about, we should think about a place in school should provide support for people to face their life challenges. And indeed, in America, many charter schools are providing all-round support for people facing not only academic challenges, but everything they're facing in their lives. I grew up as a kind of autistic kid, from a single-parent family. I know that it's not only about the curriculum, it's about the support, the emotional support. I was lucky enough to manage and to become the first child, to enter university in the whole family history. And I know exactly so many challenges that we should help our students to overcome. My favorite speaker, author, is actually a Swiss-born UK author, Mr. Alan de Botton. He actually said, we should really teach something relevant, in the classrooms. We should really talk about how to pursue happiness in life. And that's why, apart from his really popular speech with over 5 million views, he established the School of Life. Perhaps you can imagine that your classes, your subjects are divided into different categories, right? But he's actually teaching something relevant. How to manage relationship? What's love? How to pursue a successful career? It should be really, in the curriculum. Perhaps you ask, what kind of, if I learn about how to manage relationship, is it helpful for my career? Just listen to Forbes. It's the top 10 skills that most employer wants. Let me share 3 findings with you. Among these 10, you will recognize most of these kind of abilities we are not teaching in the classrooms. And indeed, when you see the top 10 skills, technical knowledge only ranks number 7. And is actually our focus of education now. How about the other skills? Are there any innovation happened? Let me share a case with you from McMaster University in Canada. They actually trained their medical students since the 1990s using a case called problem-based learning, because the medical students found out that what they are learning from the classroom are not relevant. It has nothing to do with the practice. So they use real-life problems during their class. And the teachers are kind of like a facilitator, and students actually discuss how they assess the information, how they will diagnose, how they will make recommendations and medical advice, about a person, about a patient. And indeed, this kind of problem-based learning are now spreading, throughout the school system, from K-12 to university. The second point I want to make is there's ability, about the Forbes survey, there's ability about using technology. And it's a very popular, topic about STEM education, which means science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And indeed, Don Carson, from Microsoft APAC, he mentioned that in the future, like 20 years, all the jobs will be filled, with technology, like cloud, Internet of Things, etc. And we should all be prepared for that. But from our learning, from Alan debated, learning should not be, divided into categories, but it should be a broad topic. Is there an education model really innovative enough to include everything there? So, I would like to introduce a university to you, a new kind of concept. Minerva, I would say, is the most humanistic, university in the world. They actually teaching students how to process information, how to use the information, and how they will use what they learn to solve real problems in life. And just imagine that every teacher, in the classroom, they're only allowed to speak for like at most 5 minutes. So what happened in the classroom? All the students have the responsibility to prepare the class and share their ideas. And it is how we learn the top 10 skills, from Forbes. It is how the future of education should be like. But are there any other similar education models? Actually, Yidan Prize was established to look for this kind of new innovative ideas. It will be the largest education prize in the world. And every year, 30 million Hong Kong dollars will be given to one laureate. And we have 2 prizes. And the design of the prize is not only about the cash prize, but we have an element about project subsidy to help the laureates to further expand their ideas to different parts of the world. And we look for research and development because innovation of education is not limited within the institute, and it can come from different stakeholders of the society, NGOs, social entrepreneurs, even business. And we do hope to bring this brightest mind to create further impacts to the world. Just imagine over the 50 years, there will be 100 brilliant ideas about education, and to be scaled up, to extend the impacts, to the world. I think it will be very forward-looking to support the education to transform in an organic manner. I would like to have a challenge for all of you. How will you prepare your future career? Education is actually, I would say, the most promising career in the next, at least, in the next 50 years. Because we are at the tipping point of seeing how it transforms. And when I talk about education career, it's not only limited to be teachers or researchers. We need leaders from academia, practitioners, governments, business, NGOs, social enterprise, philanthropy. And we need leaders, we need voices from parents, children, and as simple as a citizen. I would challenge each of you to find a career that can leave lasting impact to people's life. And welcome to the blank page of education. Thank you.